Hi there, this is the tutorial for a simple remembrance, I called it the Thankful Remembrance Poppy. I just thought I'd do a little tutorial because there's a couple little neat tricks that I've done. Now in this tutorial I am using shuttles, and this is for shuttles it can be a single thread kind of thing. For needle tatting, I'll talk to you in the end about some of the things I think might help you do this as a needle tatter, okay? So you have to do things slightly different. I think I just knocked off one of my beads. Oh, it's right here. Okay, all right. At the end, I'll just add it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the center. Okay, so what this is got a black onion ring style center with a bead on the core, four beads on the core thread. The very center is just a simple tatted ring. The crunching in the background is my dog, by the way. Simple tatted ring, then with the an onion ring on the outside. And I'm using a technique that Kay Judd shares in her book, in one of her books. Okay, I've modified it a little bit, but it's kind of like a modified onion ring, and then I've modified her modified onion ring. Yeah, a lot of modifies. Part of the pattern is you'll find that it's kind of little asymmetrical in terms of the spacing, but that's kind of like gets that loosey-goosey kind of fluttery feeling of a poppy. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to set this down because the black is terribly hard to see, and I've switched over to a size 3 Elizabeth thread. Okay, and I've made my 6 picot 6, okay? 6 very small picot 6, okay? Now the trick to starting the next onion ring is that you almost make a figure 4 like this, okay? So that puts us in the center place properly so that the rings are all in the same kind of direction, okay? So figure 4, make your first stitch. Don't worry about getting that super tight because you want to have a little slack between the rings, right? So that it can space up properly. And see, then when I'm coming around, okay, now if you notice I have not put beads on this because it's size 3 and I hadn't fiddled with it to figure that out. If you don't want beads on the core thread, what I always do is just count each bead as a equivalent of 1 double stitch, okay? So basically the pattern that I have, I've written 2 double stitches, bead, 2 double stitches, bead, 2 double stitches. Okay, so basically every place that there was a bead, I replaced it with a double stitch, and that makes it so there's 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so if you don't want to do beads, then you'll do 8 double stitches. Now, the part about this that is where did I put? Okay, sorry, a crochet hook. The part about this that makes it a modified onion ring is what you're going to do is you are going to use, now Kay uses the first leg, but for this I like to use the second leg. You're going to just make the double stitch and then loosen up that second leg, because what you're going to do is you're going to grab that leg, okay, see the leg of the pant of the double stitch, pull it up through. My dog is being very inappropriate and is sniffing right now. Go away. Okay, pull it up through. Okay, do you see how I pulled the leg of the double stitch up through? Take up my slack, pass the shuttle through, okay? And then very gentle, so nothing flips, pull that up, okay? And what that actually does is create kind of, you don't want this super tight, by the way. It creates an invisible kind of join, and it's a join below the line. So I really like that, okay? And I have found when I'm experimenting that if I use the second part of the leg, then that gets me a more symmetrical, so that there's not a stitch sitting on top of up here, but there's stitches on either side. So again, I'm going to show you this one more time because I'm going to take it out. As you can imagine, this is a fairly sturdy join, so you really you want to be certain you're joining in the right place, so double check, that's all I'm telling you. Okay, so some things look easier when you're actually looking at them directly. Okay, so I'm taking this back out. Hey, no barking. If anybody ever tells you that a small dog does not bark, they're hideously lying. Okay. All right. So just as a repeat again, okay? All right. Okay. So here's my ring, okay? And I've made my 8 stitches. By the way, in the pattern, I just let you guys figure out what you want to do, but this is what I did. In the 8 stitches, I'm going to take the leg, the second half stitch leg, okay, and I'm going to pull it down so it's like a little loop. I am not going to, at the same time, I am going to pull up a bunch of thread, pull that loop through, okay, past the... Now, the tricky thing is, too, here is you really don't want your threads to be twisty, okay, because that will help to keep it so that everything lies nice and flat. Pull that up through, keep this guy nice and tight, slack that up, okay, and the trick to keeping that from knotting on you is to keep that core thread nice and firm, but you don't have to pull this up super hard, okay? So we're going to continue on, all right? Okay, so that's that. You really don't need to see me do this, but I thought that I would just finish this out so you can kind of see how it would sit. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 6, 7, and then 8. All right, and then I pull this down through, and there. And there you have a reasonable onion ring. Okay, there you are. Okay, and then there's really no funny blip or anything like that. That's what I kind of like about it. So it's kind of fun. Okay, if you're using the bigger size 3 thread to do any of this stuff, remember that it's a smooshy thread, so you can pull that up way tighter than you should, which is, you know, so just be gentle. Okay, all right, and dun dun dun, there you are. Okay, so that's what I've done in here, except what I have done is I've had beads on it. So here I've made my 6. Okay, I want to put, so let's go back to the actual pattern, right? I want to put sorry, okay, if you're gonna tat with beads, you better be content to be always fiddling and with trying to get the beads in the right place. So once again, I'm going to start this off like this, so I get a little figure 4, just like I showed you. I've put 4 beads on the back of my hand. That's what that means. You're gonna need to remember that later. So there we are. I start my stitch and I'm gonna go 1. No frig, I just screwed that up. I am a hideous liar. Sorry. Wow, that really sucked. Okay. All right. I am at this stage, I'm not putting those beads on the back of my hand because they're going on the core thread. Can you tell I've just made this pattern? Okay. So I apologize. Do not put the black beads on the back of the hand. You're going to start with 1, 2, and then you're going to, this is how I figured this out within for 2 stitches. You're going to slide the black bead up. Okay. Slide the black bead up so that you have, whoops, welcome to the joy of beading, a bead on the core thread with a little, you know, with the working thread going across the top. By the way, My nails aren't as dirty as they look right now. It's just I had to deal with some oil the other day and I can't get it all out. So there's 2 stitches, bead with the cap over, and then we're going to do 2 stitches. Okay, bead on the core thread. Okay, so that's what we mean when I say pull up bead from, you know, from on core thread. Okay, I'm going to set this aside now because I can't do that. I have to finish it so that I can do the outside part right. Huh. Wow. You know, a lot of planning goes into these kinds of tutorials, just in my defense. All right, so just because, you know, you might want to need to see this again. So with the black thread, obviously, you're not going to see a whole heck of a lot. But there, I'm going to open up that second leg. Keeping my shuttle thread tight. You know what the great thing about this is? You guys aren't going to be able to see with this black thread if I totally screw this up. Just as a comforting thought for myself. Wow, I'm making that look really hard. Okay, I'm going to pause this just for a second because I can't really see the thread through the camera, okay? Okay, I'm back. I finished off the ring, and then in the pattern I suggested that you kind of use a single shutted split ring to hide the ends, and then something to pull to the back so that you can use to add a clip to or a pin to so you can pin it. Or even if you want to use it as a necklace, or earrings. So that's what I've done here. Okay, so that's what that guy is. He's not technically included in the pattern because you may choose to do something completely different. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to start with, okay, again, you can't see, black is awful, okay, but see how there's that little guy going over top, right, of that bead? So that's the where we're going to be joining to, doing our joins on the space above the bead. Wow, black thread can be really annoying sometimes. Okay, so I actually, what I did was when I started is I just looped it through there, okay, and made a little tie and kind of there. Okay, I want this to be there. Okay, so I made a little tie because what I'm going to do is we're going to start with, okay, okay, so I've started, sorry, I'm like all thumbs today. So we've started by joining to above the, hello, to joining above, oh, there we go, the bead. Okay, there he is. Okay, now I'm going to get 3 beads. Be careful with this because in a couple of times I've tried doing this, I've got like 4 beads, and it sucks to open it up again because, okay, so basically what we're going to do is put on the back of your hand, when you make your ring, you're going to put the 4 beads, right? Like this, dun, 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 oops, okay. And we're going to tat 6. Now, at the same time, you're going to, or I chose to, tat over my tails. So on that first one, I do a little tat over tail. It's nice to have the sound effects with this, right? Oh, wow, look at that. Did you see that split? Lovely. Okay. Wow. It actually worked out well for me to pause it because I also got my moments of silence in. And the mint in rated 11. So it worked out good. Moment of silence and the reveille in my head. Because I played in band. Not trumpet though. So I kind of got it in my head. My friend Anna used to do an awesome version of it. And actually Darcy. Wow, this feels like it's going long. Okay, so we're doing, I'm gonna just, it's easier for me to just tat over all 6, so that, or to do all 6 over the thread, right? So 2, 4, 5. You know, right now as we're talking, I'm kneeling at the table because this is a little side table at my cottage, and I'm doing it here because my table is glass, my dining table. So that wouldn't work. Oh, look at that. See how those beads little snuck in there? Part of the joy of beading, or tatting with beads. Okay, so there's my 6. Okay, and I'm going to, okay, so I haven't closed my ring, but I'm going to cut this because that way when I pull the thread, so I'm going to cut it through kind of like that. And the tricky thing here is make sure you're not cutting the other threads. Okay, and as I close, what's going to happen is that this is going to form half rings, okay? But the beads are going to cover the thread, and that's what's going to help give me the shape, okay? Now, if you wanted to, you just wanted to do a half closed ring, you could do that. You wouldn't have to do the beads, okay? So there's no, you don't have to use the beads, okay? I like using the beads because so I've done that one. Ooh, lovely. The sun seems to have gone, so it was super bright and sunny there for a moment. Now we were a little darker than I'd like us to be, but there is my half ring, okay? All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 2 more. Okay. And do it like this. Okay. When you do that first ring, try to snug up there a bit. If you are finding that, okay, so little fun lesson here is if you are finding that they're stretching out, then what you do is, say this space between the rings kind of gets left out, then that is actually, that space is formed by pulling out the slack on this first ring. So what you do is just fluff it, okay, and that makes that space disappear. So see, I'll show you this one more time. Ooh, stretch space, right? But that space came from this ring. So we're going to just fluff it. Yeah, see, even in tatting, there's fluffing. Okay, it's a really bad joke. Okay. And then one last time. 3 beads, back of the hand. Okay, so 3 beads, back of the hand. And I'm going to tat. Ah, totally missed. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I thought I didn't flip it there first. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, pull it closed. Okay. Okay, so, all right, so now you're going to come and you are going to join. We are going to join. Let me just check to see where I am on here. You are going to join right above the next bead with the thread there. Okay, so the thread above the next bead, and that's going to be right here. Okay, and you're just going to pull up a loop, pass the shuttle through, and that's it. Okay. If you wanted to be a little more fancy schmancy, you could do like a Catherine wheel join or something like that, or a not Catherine wheel join. It wouldn't be a Catherine wheel join in this case, but it'd be a lark's head knot. Doesn't really matter how you think about it. That's what it would be. Okay. Whee! Okay, so we do those all around, right? And we end up at this. You join back to the beginning. And what I would do this time is I would also do a, I actually would join back, make sure that's a really good knot, and I would hide the bead in the threads, the red bead in the thread, and just have the black one at the back, so that it would be something to attach a pin or a clip or a hook to. Okay? If you don't know how to make a single shuttle split ring, the reason they're kind of handy is you can use them to hide threads and that stuff, or in this case, make a little loop and hide the thread, the black thread at the same time. And you can I know that there's a tutorial on Jane Eberall's website. I'm pretty confident there is one. All right, pretty simple pattern. This is in size 20 thread. I use the Lisbeth poppy red color and the Lisbeth black. But I think that you could, I have to double check, I haven't played with it yet. I think if you wanted a larger one, you could use size 10 thread and probably the 6mm, not 6mm beads, the size 6 beads, right? So when we're talking about seed beads, the next size bigger is size 6, and I think that would be about right. So yeah, if you have any questions, email me, okay? It's victats@gmail.com, and I'll see what we can do to help you, and we'll go from there. Okay, take care and happy tatting, and thank you to all that have served and will serve in the future.